Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Cat, your favorite place for relaxing English listening practice. I am Emma.
And I am Jake. We are so happy you are listening to us today. How are you doing, Emma?
I am doing great, Jake. I had a really nice morning, actually. I wake up early, had some coffee, and felt very relaxed. What about you?
Well, honestly, my morning was a bit messy. I woke up late because I forgot to set my alarm clock.
Oh no, Jake. That is the worst feeling, you know? When you open your eyes and realize you need to leave the house in 10 minutes.
Exactly. I woke up, looked at my phone, and shouted, "Oh no!" I had to jump out of bed, get dressed in 30 seconds, and run out the door. I did not even have time to brush my hair properly.
I can see that, Jake. Your hair looks a little bit wild today, but that is okay. It gives you character.
Thanks, Emma. I try my best. But seriously, morning routines are so important, aren't they? If my morning is stressful, my whole day feels stressful.
I completely agree. For me, a good morning routine starts the night before. I like to choose my clothes for the next day before I go to sleep. It saves so much time. Do you do that?
Choose my clothes the night before? No, never. I just open my closet in the morning, grab the first t-shirt I see, and put it on. Maybe that is why I sometimes wear mismatched socks.
You are wearing mismatched socks right now, aren't you?
Actually, yes. One is blue and one is black. But hey, nobody can see them under my shoes.
That is true. It is your little secret. But let us talk about breakfast. Breakfast is my absolute favorite part of the morning. I cannot start my day without a good breakfast. What do you usually eat?
Well, like I said, today I had no time. So I just ate a banana while running to the bus stop. But on a normal day, I like to eat cereal with milk. It is quick, it is easy, and it tastes good. What about you? Are you a big breakfast person?
Oh, definitely. I love making eggs and toast. And, of course, coffee. I need coffee to think. If you ask me a question before I drink my coffee, my brain just does not work.
I know what you mean. Coffee is like magic juice for adults. I prefer hot tea in the morning, actually. Green tea or black tea with a little bit of sugar. It makes me feel warm and ready for the day.
Tea is nice too. It is very calming. So, after breakfast, what is your next step? For me, it is brushing my teeth and washing my face with cold water. The cold water really helps me wake up.
Oh, cold water on the face is a great trick. I do that too. Then I check my phone for a few minutes. I look at the weather report to see if I need an umbrella, and I check my messages.
You know, I try not to check my phone first thing in the morning. I think looking at social media or emails immediately can make us feel anxious. I try to wait at least 30 minutes after waking up before I check my phone.
Wow, Emma, you are very disciplined. I try to do that, but my phone is right next to my bed, so it is very hard to resist. I just reach out my hand and boom, I am looking at the screen.
It is a habit, Jake. You can change it if you try. Just put your phone on the other side of the room. That way, you have to get out of bed to turn off the alarm.
That is actually a really good idea. But then I would have to walk across the cold floor in the winter? That sounds difficult.
You just need some warm slippers. Speaking of winter, do you find it harder to get out of bed when it is cold and dark outside?
Oh, absolutely. It is the hardest thing in the world. When it is raining or snowing, my bed feels like the most comfortable place on earth. I just want to stay under the blankets forever.
Me too. In the summer, it is much easier. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and I feel full of energy.
Yes, summer mornings are beautiful. So let me ask you a question, Emma. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
I am definitely a morning person. I love the quiet of the morning. Everything is still, and the world feels peaceful. What about you?
I think I am a night owl. I get my best ideas late at night. But unfortunately, society wants us to wake up early, so I have to adapt.
Well, you are doing a good job, even with your mismatched socks.
Thank you, Emma. Well, that is all for our morning routine conversation today.
Thanks for listening to English Cat. Keep practicing English every day, and see you in the next episode. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to English Cat, your favorite podcast for clear and relaxing English listening practice. I am Jake. And I am Emma. Today, we are talking about something we all have to do, whether we like it or not: shopping for food. Ah, grocery shopping. Honestly, Emma, I have a love-hate relationship with grocery stores. Sometimes I love looking at all the delicious food, and sometimes I hate how crowded it is. I know exactly what you mean. Going to the grocery store on a Saturday afternoon is a terrible idea. It is always so busy, and people are pushing their carts everywhere. Yes, it feels like a traffic jam inside a supermarket. That is why I prefer to go late in the evening, maybe around 8 or 9 o'clock. It is so quiet then. That is a smart move, Jake. I usually go on weekday mornings, right after my morning routine. The store is empty, and the vegetables are always fresh because they just put them out.
Speaking of vegetables, let us talk about the different sections of the store. When you walk into a grocery store, what is the first thing you look for?
I always start in the produce section. That is where the fruits and vegetables are. I love choosing fresh apples, bananas, tomatoes, and spinach. I think it is important to eat healthy food, you know?
I agree. I try to buy fresh fruit every week. But I have a confession to make, Emma. Every time I go to the supermarket, the bakery section calls my name. The smell of fresh bread and warm cookies is amazing.
Oh, I know. That smell is dangerous. It is very hard to walk past the bakery without buying a loaf of bread or a chocolate muffin.
Exactly. Actually, they say you should never go grocery shopping when you are hungry. Have you ever heard that advice?
Yes, and it is totally true. If I go to the store hungry, I buy so many things I don't need. I see chips, cookies, and pizza, and my brain says, yes, buy everything. Then I get home and realize I didn't buy any real food for dinner.
I do that all the time. I go in to buy milk and eggs, and I leave with 3 bags of potato chips, a frozen lasagna, and ice cream. It is a disaster for my wallet and my health.
That is why you need a shopping list, Jake. Do you use a list when you go shopping?
Well, sometimes I write a list on a piece of paper, but then I forget the paper on my kitchen table, so I have to try to remember everything.
You should use your phone. There are great apps for shopping lists. You can just check things off as you put them in your shopping cart. It is super easy and saves money because you only buy what you need.
That is a good point. I should start doing that. Let me ask you, Emma, do you prefer supermarket shopping or going to small local markets?
I really love local farmers markets, especially on the weekends. The food is often grown by local farmers, so it is very fresh and supports the community. Plus, you can chat with the people selling the food. It feels very friendly.
Yes, I like that too. You can ask them, are these strawberries sweet today? And they will tell you the truth. In a big supermarket, you cannot really ask the cashier if the fruit is good.
Right. The supermarket cashiers are usually very busy, trying to scan everything quickly. By the way, do you prefer using the regular checkout line with a real person or the self-checkout machines?
Honestly, if I only have a few things, I like the self-checkout. It is faster. But if I have a big cart full of groceries, I prefer the regular checkout. Dealing with those machines when you have 40 items can be very frustrating. Please place the item in the bagging area. It drives me crazy sometimes.
Yes, always. I keep a few reusable bags in my backpack, so I never have to buy plastic bags. It is better for the environment, you know?
I need to do that too. I always forget my bags and have to buy paper bags at the store. My house is full of paper bags now.
You can use them for recycling, Jake. See, there is always a solution. Well, we have successfully completed our virtual grocery shopping trip today.
Yes, and now I am feeling a little bit hungry.
Thanks for listening to English Cat. Keep practicing English every day, and see you in the next episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Cat, your cozy spot for daily English listening practice. I am Emma.
And I am Jake. We are so happy to have you here with us again. Today, we are exploring the busy world of city life and public transportation.
This is a great topic because almost everyone who lives in a city has to deal with transport. Jake, how do you usually get around the city?
Well, actually, I don't own a car, so I rely completely on public transport. I take the bus and the subway every single day. What about you, Emma? Do you drive?
I do have a driver's license, but honestly, driving in the city is too stressful for me. There is always traffic, and finding a parking spot is like a nightmare. It can take 30 minutes just to find a place to park. So I prefer walking or taking the train.
I agree. Driving in the city makes me nervous. On the train, I can just sit down, relax, and listen to music or read a book. It feels like free time.
Yes, that is the best part of public transport. You can use the time to do something you enjoy. I love listening to podcasts or practicing a new language while I am on the bus. It makes the travel time fly by.
That is a very productive way to travel, Emma. Usually, I just play games on my phone or look out the window and look at the city scenery.
Looking out the window is nice too. You see so many different kinds of people in the city. It is great for people watching. You see people going to work, students going to school, tourists with big maps.
Oh, definitely. The subway is like a small world of its own. You see all walks of life, but it can also be very crowded during rush hour. Have you ever been on a train during rush hour, Emma?
Oh, yes. It is not very comfortable, is it? Everyone is standing so close together. Sometimes you cannot even move your arms. You just have to hold on to a strap and hope the train does not stop suddenly.
Yes. If the train stops suddenly, everyone bumps into each other like bowling pins. It can be a bit awkward, but people usually understand and say, "Oh, sorry."
People are generally polite. But there are some unwritten rules of public transport, right? For example, you should always let people get off the train before you try to get on.
Yes, that is a major rule. It drives me crazy when people try to push their way onto the train while others are still trying to step out. It just creates a big block at the door.
Exactly. It is just common sense. Another rule is keeping your voice down if you are talking on the phone. Nobody else on the bus wants to hear your whole conversation about what you are making for dinner.
That is so true, Jake. Or when people play videos on their phones without headphones, that is very annoying. Please, everyone, use headphones.
Yes, headphones are a lifesaver in the city. So, Jake, what do you think is the best thing about living in a city with good public transport?
Well, I love the freedom. I can go anywhere I want without worrying about gas prices or car insurance. If I want to go to a museum across town, I just walk to the station, tap my transit card, and I am on my way.
Yes, convenience is a huge benefit of city life. Everything is close. You have restaurants, shops, theaters, and parks just a short ride away.
But city life can also be quite loud and fast moving. Sometimes I feel a bit overwhelmed by the noise of the traffic, the sirens, and the construction. Do you ever feel like you need a break from the city?
Oh, absolutely. Every few weeks, I feel the need to escape to nature. I like to take a train out of the city to a quiet town or a national park where I can walk among the trees and hear the birds. It helps me recharge my batteries.
That sounds lovely. A nice balance between city life and nature is perfect. I like going to the big park in the center of our city. It is not the countryside, but it has a beautiful lake and lots of trees. It is like a green island in a sea of concrete.
Yes, city parks are very precious. Well, whether you prefer the quiet countryside or the exciting city, public transport helps connect us all.
Well said, Emma. I think my bus is arriving soon, so we should wrap up this part of the conversation.
Thanks for listening to English Cat. Keep practicing English every day and see you in the next episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Cat. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Easy English Listening Practice. I am Jake.
And I am Emma. Today, we are talking about one of my favorite topics, social life. We are talking about coffee shops, restaurants, and hanging out with friends.
Now, this is a topic I think everyone loves. There is nothing better than spending time with good friends and eating good food.
I agree, Jake. Let us start with coffee shops or cafes. I spend a lot of time in cafes. Sometimes I go there to meet a friend, and sometimes I just go by myself with my laptop to do some work. Do you like working in coffee shops?
I do, actually. I find that the background noise in a cafe helps me focus. The sound of the espresso machine, the soft music, and people talking quietly. It creates a nice atmosphere. It is called ambient noise, right?
Yes, it is. It is very cozy. When you go to a coffee shop, what do you usually order? Are you a regular coffee drinker, or do you like fancy drinks? Well, honestly, I'm pretty simple. I usually just get a black coffee or a latte. But sometimes, in the winter, I like to treat myself to a hot chocolate with whipped cream on top. What about you? I love an iced latte, even in the winter. My friends think I am crazy for drinking iced coffee when it is freezing outside, but I just prefer it. And I usually get a pastry too, like a croissant.
A croissant and coffee is a classic combination. You cannot go wrong with that. Now, what about restaurants? When you go out to eat with friends, how do you decide where to go? Because for my friends, it always takes an hour just to choose a restaurant.
That is so common. One person wants Italian food, another person wants sushi, and someone else is vegetarian. It can be hard to agree. Usually, we choose a place by looking at reviews online, or we just go to our favorite local burger place.
A burger place is always a safe choice. I love a good burger and French fries. When you're at a restaurant with a big group of friends, how do you handle the bill? Do you split it evenly, or does everyone pay for exactly what they ate?
In my group of friends, we usually just split the bill evenly. It is much easier than trying to calculate who had the side salad and who had the expensive steak. We just divide the total by the number of people. It saves a lot of time and avoids awkward moments.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if someone only drank water and had a small appetizer, it might feel a bit unfair to them.
In that case, we usually say, hey, you pay less today. Communication is key, you know?
Definitely. It is important to be considerate of everyone's budget. Aside from eating, what other things do you like to do when you hang out with your friends?
Well, we love playing board games. On Friday nights, we often gather at my apartment, order a pizza, and play games for hours. It is very cheap, and we laugh a lot. It is much better than going to a loud club where you cannot even hear each other speak.
Oh, I totally agree. I prefer quiet hangouts where we can actually talk and share stories. I also love going to the cinema with friends. Watching a movie together and then going for a walk afterwards to discuss the ending is really fun. Yes, discussing the movie is the best part, especially if the ending was a surprise or if the movie was really bad. It is fun to joke about bad movies together. It really is. Laughter is the best way to connect with people. You know, making friends as an adult can be difficult sometimes, but sharing these simple moments makes relationships stronger. That is very true, Emma. It is not about doing something extravagant or expensive. It is just about spending quality time together.
Well, speaking of quality time, I think it is time for us to finish this section. I am going to meet a friend at a cafe in a little bit.
Enjoy your iced latte, Emma. And to our listeners, thank you for spending time with us.
Thanks for listening to English Cat. Keep practicing English every day, and see you in the next episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final part of today's English Cat podcast. We are so glad you are still here practicing your English listening with us. I am Jake.
And I am Emma. We have traveled through the morning, the grocery store, the city transport, and the cafes. Now the sun is setting, and it is time for our evening routine and relaxation.
Oh, the evening. My absolute favorite time of the day. This is the time when we can finally slow down, let go of the day's stress, and just relax. Emma, what is the first thing you do when you get home after a long day?
The very first thing I do is change into comfortable clothes. I take off my shoes, put on my favorite sweatpants, and a soft t-shirt. It feels like a signal to my brain that work time is over and relaxation time has started.
Oh, absolutely. Changing out of outside clothes is essential. I do the exact same thing. I call them my home clothes. Once the sweatpants are on, I am officially off duty.
Off duty. I love that. So, once you are off duty, what is next? Do you cook dinner right away?
Usually, yes. I actually find cooking to be quite relaxing. I put on some nice jazz music, chop some vegetables, and make something warm. Tonight, I think I will make a simple pasta dish. Cooking helps me transition from the busy day to a calm evening.
That sounds lovely, Jake. I like cooking too, but if I am too tired, I just make a simple sandwich or heat up some leftovers from the day before. After dinner, I like to tidy up the kitchen quickly. I hate waking up to a sink full of dirty dishes in the morning.
That is a great habit. A clean kitchen in the morning makes the morning routine so much easier, like we talked about in part 1. Everything is connected.
Exactly. It is a circle. So, after the kitchen is clean, how do you spend your evening? Do you watch TV, read, or do something else?
Well, honestly, I do watch a bit of TV. I like watching comedies or documentaries. It helps me turn off my brain. But I try to turn off the television at least an hour before I go to sleep. Instead of watching TV until the last minute, I like to read a book in bed.
Reading is wonderful for sleep. It relaxes the eyes and the mind. I do that too. I also like to write in a journal for 5 minutes before bed. I write down 3 things I am grateful for that happened during the day. It could be something big, like a good meeting at work, or something small, like a delicious cup of coffee.
That is a beautiful practice, Emma. It helps you focus on the positive things in life. You know, the evening is also a great time to reflect on life in general, our dreams, our goals, and where we are going.
It really is. When the world is quiet at night, I often think about the future. I think about my personal goals, like learning a new skill or traveling to a new country. What are some of your dreams for the future, Jake? Well, speaking honestly, one of my biggest dreams is to travel around South America. I want to see the mountains, learn some Spanish, and experience the culture. I have a goal to save enough money to do that next year. That sounds amazing, Jake. I am sure you can do it if you stick to your budget and save a little bit every month. For me, my current goal is to write a short story. I have always loved writing, but I never seem to find the time. I am trying to write just 1 page every evening.
That is the best way to achieve a goal, Emma. Just small steps every day. 1 page a night means you will have a whole book in a year.
Exactly. Consistency is the secret, and that applies to learning English too, for all our listeners out there. Listening to this podcast every day is a small step that leads to big results.
Well said, Emma. Every minute you spend listening and practicing helps you get closer to fluency. You should all be proud of yourselves for practicing today.
Yes, absolutely. Well, the clock is ticking and it is getting late. It is time for us to brush our teeth, turn off the lights, and get some rest.
Good night, Emma, and good night to all our listeners. Sleep well.
Thanks for listening to English Cat. Keep practicing English every day and see you in the next episode.